All right. Good evening, everyone. Dave Wilson, Ring of Hire Show. Hey, it's going to be a great show tonight. This is one of my favorite things that I love to get back on LinkedIn. And I like people trying to find a job. And tonight, we're going to interview live Kayla Hurt, Houston, Texas, right?
Hey, go Astros.
All right. How you doing, Kayla?
I'm good. How are you doing, David?
Good.
Good to see you again.
Yes, it is. And we're going to be right back after this video. So stick around. All right. I know you said Houston, Dallas, or the Texans.
Houston Astros. It's baseball season, baby.
I forget about that. I don't watch the baseball, but you got to say you're definitely Houston. I'm sure Texans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Houston all the
All
way.
right.
Houston Astros all the way. I'm a big baseball girl, so.
Awesome. All right, tonight, everybody. Like I said, if you're watching this video, feel free to ask Kayla some interview questions. But first, Kayla, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a Houston native, born and raised, 35 years now. Was born down in the Med Center back in 1987, so many years ago. I grew up in the Woodlands, moved around a lot. I'm currently located in Cypress, but I've always kind of commuted down to the Galleria downtown Med Center area. Been doing that now for the last 8 years or so. I'm currently on a temporary assignment with Moody Rambin, and that's been a great experience for me.
Yeah.
I currently support one of the founders and CEO, Dan Moody III. So Dan Moody's grandfather, Dan Moody Sr., started Moody Rambin back, I think, in the 50s or 60s, and then passed it down through his son, which would be Dan Moody Jr., and now Dan Moody III. So I directly support Dan Moody III. He's a great guy. We get along really, really well. I also get along really well with the VP, Andy Bupri. He's a really nice guy. Right. I'm learning a lot of really good experiences there. I'm getting a lot of good commercial real estate experience, which is great. And I'm also, being recognized and acknowledged for my skill sets there, which are a lot, but mostly just my organizational skills, being able to kind of come in and implement processes and procedures and streamline things and get things digitized that need to be digitized. A good example of that is we do a lot of ink and paper because commercial real estate, you have a lot of leases. Those leases have amendments and things like that. We have a lot of wet ink that has to go back and forth between our investors and us. And some things we can put in DocuSign, some things we can't. And I realized on day 2 or 3 of me being there, I started May 8th, the week of May 8th, I believe. I realized there was no tracking system in place for where this thing was, what phase was it in? Was it in the Second Amendment? Was it the 5th? Was it 10th? Was it the 20th? Who was the last person who had it? When was it sent? Did we get it back? And so I was able to go into SharePoint and create an entire project management system from scratch. And so now Dan Moody III loves what I've created so much that he's implementing it across the entire interface to track all of their documents. So it's just stuff like that.
Well, what I like, we got some people here. So Steve.
Hello. Hey, Steve. How are you?
He's out in Utah, Mr. Steve.
Nice.
Oh, Lisa Parker. Hi, David. Job seeker looking for customer service. Lisa, DM me after here, and we'll set you up to come on the show, and feel free. We got Rob. He's all the way in Pittsburgh.
Hey, Rob, how are you?
And Steve again. Kayla, welcome to the Ring of Hire show. He's great. Hey, he's a good person to reach out. But what I like about you, Kayla, is, when I saw that you were looking for work, you're taking on a temporary assignment right now at a temporary service, and I kind of like that because if you're looking for that great career or your next opportunity, you're getting experience right now, and I like how when you said that. What are some of the job titles I like to put out there in the beginning of what kind of job titles are you seeking?
I'm seeking executive and or personal assistant. I found that I really, really shine in both executive and PA work. I shine a little bit more in PA work. Right. Something about me just makes me really good at coming into people's lives, be it personal or professional, and going, why are you living like this? And just redoing their whole life.
And doing
just literally looking at it and be like, yes, but why? And just coming in and redoing everything, reorganizing everything. I'm really into, and I think this has to do with probably my ADHD, where I don't like things that should be easy to be complicated, right? So a good example of this is like my keys go in the same spot every single day. And I have systems in place because I don't want to spend 20 minutes in the morning looking for my shoes, looking for my purse, looking for my keys, looking for my phone, stuff like that. I want to be on autopilot on, right? And so I do that across a lot of things in my life. And then I somehow have managed to kind of turn that around and do it to other people's lives too. Be like, this is really like, why is this 6 steps when it could be 4? Like, why are we doing it this way when I could streamline it and do it this way? That's what I've really found out that I'm really good at.
And that's a good skill set too. Organization. Mm-hmm. You're talking to somebody that needs someone like you too, because it's just, I don't know. I need that extra boost, It's somebody that really knows what they're doing there. What I wanted to ask you is, I know you said administrative assistant or executive assistant, but what actually are you looking for in a job for your next employer?
I think if anything, and this temporary assignment at Moody Rambin has really shown me that I really need to be in an environment where my strong personality isn't a threat.
Right.
I think that's on it. Like I could sit here and tell you like, oh, I'm looking for good benefits and I'm looking for a nice office and I'm looking for growth opportunities. Like, of course I'm looking for all of those things, right? Of course I'm looking for a good benefits package. Of course I'm looking for growth. Of course I'm looking for a good salary. Of course I'm looking for all those things. But when you whittle all of that away, I think the main thing that Moody Rambin has shown me is I really want to be in a place like I am now where I get along great with the founders and I can joke with them because we have the same energy. We match each other's energy, right? I'm a strong personality, but I'm also very likable. I think there's this weird stigma, especially with women, where if you have a strong personality, especially as a woman, you're kind of deemed like you kind of have this label of like, oh, you're going to be difficult to work with or you're going to be bitchy or whatever. Right. I'm extremely likable because I don't go out of my way to be unlikable, I don't think.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm extremely likable, but I am a strong personality. And part of what being a strong personality means to me is I get shit done. I don't bullshit around. I don't give you a bunch of excuses. I'm very cut and dry. I'll still make you laugh on a daily basis. Right. Like I'm really good at that. But overall, like I was telling before the show started, I think I've done so well and I do so well with a lot of C-suite people is because they're kind of like me. They don't have time. They don't have time to spend 20 minutes, listening to your why this isn't done yet. Right. Like, they don't have that kind of time. They want to know what the facts are. They want to know where it's at, what phase it's in. And that's one of the reasons why I did that Aniko task list, because that also eliminated all this back and forth of like 80 unnecessary emails of, hey, have you seen this? Well, I gave it to that person. I don't know what they did with it. And I sent it out on this day, but I don't know if I got it back. This task list that I made eliminates all of that. And I get along well with C-suite people because I'm kind of that strong personality. I don't bullshit around. I don't, give a bunch of excuses. And so I think for my next role, for sure, I need to be able to work in a place where, I guess in short, I can be myself. And even though myself is a strong personality.
What I like about you, Kayla, is I went back and I always look at everybody's post. You can really tell a lot about people. You look at their last 10 posts, if they're active on LinkedIn, you can really get a feel about it. And I told you before the show, I love video. I love LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn used properly, you can really find yourself a job. People will come to you. And what you're always putting posts up, you're putting yourself out there saying you're looking for work in this industry. But I like the post that you did, that you actually tagged the company. You said, what do I got to lose? You had your picture. You said, I would like to work for the company, and you put it out there. And I was like, that is what I'm talking about on LinkedIn. There's nothing wrong with being yourself, putting a picture of yourself on LinkedIn. You know, people say bias. Well, I don't the way I look or this. So what? Put yourself out there. And like you said, you have jobs come to you.
Yes, I've actually spent quite a bit of time on my LinkedIn profile and, you know, building it out and listing a bunch of different stuff and having my skill sets in there. But I try to post at least 3 times a week on my LinkedIn when I'm actively looking. And while I have applied for roles, I've mostly had roles come to me. I've been extremely busy with replying to LinkedIn messages, replying to emails, returning phone calls. I was on an interview this morning. I have another interview tomorrow. And so, yeah, it's and most of those jobs, if not all of them, I didn't apply for. They've reached out to me on LinkedIn and were like, hey, we saw your post or we saw your profile. You have a really great, you know, LinkedIn, you have really good experience. We'd love to, you know, sit down and chat or something like that.
That's what I like. I've noticed that. And we do have a cute couple of people. Oh, Richard Rosner, the staffing charts in the house. Mr. Richard.
Hello, Mr. Richard. How are you?
He's going to be coming on the show again. Can't miss this. We got Daryl. Daryl's in Houston, Texas, I believe. Yep.
Oh, fellow Houstonian. Hello, Daryl.
He works at the oil rigs. We got Bill. He's always on the show. Hey, Bill. Kansas City.
Bill.
Kansas City. Richard says, be you, be different. And I totally agree with that. And you feel strongly about that. I know you do.
I do.
Daryl, they're all talking to each other. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. They're all talking to each other. Go ahead.
I was in my interview today, and one thing that I did, and this might be controversial. I know some people are going to be like, oh, I can't believe you told them that. But I was with the HR manager, and we immediately got along. And that was a huge green flag for me, because if I can get along with the HR manager, I'm probably going to do well in this company. Yeah. And so, the position was for executive assistant supporting the CEO, who apparently is also a strong personality. And I'm like, I always joke that I realize I do well with strong personalities in one of my first big girl jobs, as I call it, where I got my start at McGovern Medical School working for the Department of Surgery. You want to talk about egos? Go sit in a room with 20 general surgeons. That's all I'm saying. Sit in a room with 20 general surgeons and you will understand. But I did really, really well there. And the only reason I left was, you know, to promote myself up into better financial gains, right? And more experience. That's the only reason I left that job. But
I wanted to touch bases of your education. And I wanted you to talk about that. Bill says, I have a bunch of relatives in Spring, Texas. Not sure where that is.
Nice. I'm not too far from Spring. I'm over in Cyprus myself. I know where Odessa is. Nice.
Oh, is that close to you?
No, Odessa is 8 hours west. Odessa is close to El Paso, I think, but it's farther south than El Paso.
Okay.
But I told my interviewer today, you know, she was like, the CEO is kind of hard to get a hold of, you know, but as soon as I get a hold of him, you know, you'll meet with him and that's kind of your final process. And I was like, okay, great. I just want to let you know, I have an interview with another company tomorrow. And that's controversial. Some people will say, well, I can't believe you told them that. It's like, look, I got a call from a recruiter leaving that interview.
I hear you. And if anybody's listening to Bill and Daryl and everybody here, Richard or Steve, if, you know, you want to chime in on that, if that is a good thing to say, listen, I've had somebody say that they've had an interview tomorrow. I don't know if I always look at that and say, okay, do I say, well, you're going to go for that one or something? You know what I mean? You kind of go back and forth on it. Like, I don't know, but listen, if it works, it's you though. It's you. That's your personality.
It is me. I think the only reason I told her that is because she told me the CEO is sometimes hard to get a hold of.
Right.
And it's kind of, and also in this job market, if you're not moving quickly on a candidate you really like, somebody else, as quick as you think you're moving, somebody else is moving quicker in this job market. And now I'm in a really good state right now, because while my temporary assignment does end July 1, I'm kind of in this holding pattern where I can be a little picky, right? And so I've already started weighing the two companies against each other a little bit, like just looking at, because I do research on companies. I don't just go blindly into anything. Even for interviews, I research what you do, what your investments are. You know, I go on Glassdoor, I go on Indeed, I read reviews, I look at salaries, I look at all of that.
Right.
And I've already started weighing these two companies against each other in my brain to a certain degree. While one is truthfully, I'm leaning more towards the one that I interviewed for today.
Right.
And so even though I haven't even interviewed with the second one tomorrow, I'm going in with an open mind tomorrow. But, you know, overall, just looking at the company culture and the growth and just kind of the overall patterns, these are all things that I think people should look for. If they have the ability to look at it, you're not just like in a position where you really need a job and you have the ability to sit and like go through the Glassdoor reviews and go through the salaries and go through all of this, because especially the salaries, that's going to tell you where to negotiate, right? It's like, well, you know, it's like you're offering me 75, but I'm seeing right here that your median average, you know, executive assistant salary is 86. So,
86. And if you're researching that, I think that's great. Lisa has a compliment for you.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. You're so sweet. I am very personable, and I do love to teach people and help people grow and learn. I think that's super important.
And you still didn't bring up about your education.
Ah, yes, my education.
Yeah,
University of Houston currently. Hi, Ivan. How are you? University of Houston currently, Bachelor's of Science in Psychology, due to graduate May of 2024. I will then tentatively either go and get my master's or my doctorate. I haven't quite decided yet. We'll see what happens.
And how are you going to blend that? What then what do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a clinical psychologist when I grow up.
That's what you were saying. I mean, that's a big goal, isn't it? Whew.
It is. It's a huge goal. It usually requires a PhD or an MD, whichever comes first. And so everybody always asks me, you know, well, then why are you working so hard at your executive/personal assistant career? And I will tell everybody this until I'm blue in the face: connections.
Right. No.
I mean, I've made a huge connection because I'm doing exceptionally well at Moody Ranvin. They're exceptionally pleased with me. I really think Dan Moody wants to keep me. There's just no real place for me there right now. But it's
always good to put yourself there like that. It's always
absolutely. It's always good to network. Networking. I am really big on it's 80% who you know and 20% what you know.
Yep.
And I mean, I've made a huge connection with one of the biggest, if not the biggest, commercial real estate company in Houston. So whenever I'm ready to build out my practice, I've got Dan Moody's personal number. I can call him and be like, hey, remember me?
I had a question for you. Oh, that's the best part. I had a question for you. If I had a bunch of your friends right outside my door here right now, I went out there and there was 5 of them, and I said, you know what? Tell me about Caleb. What would they say?
They'd probably say
about you? What type of person are you? What would they say?
They'd probably say I'm stubborn. No, they would honestly probably say that I'm very driven. I'm absolutely very driven. Most of my friends have told me they have not met anybody who is more motivated than I am to succeed, to do well, to make a difference, to help people, to do any of that stuff. And I think another thing they would say is I'm funny. I mean, pre-COVID, I did stand up, so that speaks for itself.
I know I read that on your LinkedIn thing. I was like, all right.
Yeah. I love to make people laugh. I adapted this. There's a quote that I read when I was literally just a kid, probably I think I read it in intermediate school. I was so young. And there's a quote, I don't even remember who said it. I think it's an anonymous quote even. It says, if you're going to tell people the truth, you have to make them laugh. Otherwise, they'll kill you. And for whatever reason,
I'm going to have to listen to that one over and over. Say that again.
Yeah. So the quote is, if you're going to tell people the truth, you have to make them laugh. Otherwise, they'll kill you.
I'm going to listen to that one over and over.
And so I love that quote and I've really adapted it because there's two sides of every coin, right? You have people who are like, you know, I'm not rude. I'm just blunt. You know, I'm just honest. It's like, no, you're kind of an asshole. Not okay. And I'm equally honest and blunt and to the point, but I'm not nasty about it. I make people laugh when I do it. And also I can take it. People roast me all the time. I bully my boyfriend constantly. He bullies me. It's great. We love each other. it's just
Over
it's
it.
just so dynamic, you know. It's
Well,
like I
Ivan
love
says you have great
it.
communication skills, so that's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
You know, if I wanted to ask you, GC, how to make, what is growth? I like asking this one. What does growth mean to you in a company, within a company? What does it mean to you?
I think growth for me, that definition has definitely changed over the past
Yeah.
couple of years for me.
Yep.
I think if you had asked me that question 10 years ago, growth would have been like, oh, a promotion and more money and all of this stuff. I think growth for me means being at peace with where I'm working. And I
Right.
know peace kind of sounds like a layman's term, but I've worked in environments that were toxic. I've worked for bosses who shouldn't have been in positions of, you know, authority at all. Like,
Right.
why are you in charge of people when you're barely in charge of yourself? And
Yeah.
so I think for me, growth to me in a company looks like I'm doing my job well, it's being recognized, and I don't wake up every single morning dreading to go to work.
Ready to go to work. I like that. That's one good thing. I have two more questions for you. And again, for anybody that's you know, can share this video, Kayla, she's in, we're at again exactly in Houston, Texas.
Cypress.
Okay.
Cypress. So I'm in the
please
greater
reach
Houston
out.
area.
All right, but please reach out, you know, executive assistant, and you really got a lot of skills here with your education too. Is what two more. What makes you different?
What makes, oh God, that's a laundry list. I mean, knee-jerk response to me is I have ADHD and dyslexia. That off the bat, being a neurodivergent makes me different, right?
Okay.
I think if we whittle that down a little bit further, I think my ability to look at a big picture and then hone in on what needs to happen within that picture, right? A lot of people, you know, a lot of people get lost in the details or lost in the sauce, as I like to say. They get lost in the finite details and they forget to pull back and look at the big picture. One of the things that makes me so good at my job is because, like I said, I can come in, I can see a big picture need, and then I can whittle that down into specifics, right?
I like that.
So going back to the anecdote task list that I made, right? That was something that was a big picture item that I solidified into a single thing. I'm really good at that. And I think that's what makes me so good at being able to come in. And I say, you know, one thing that makes me so good at being an EA/PA is I come in and I fill a need you didn't know you needed filled. An example I like to use that's really generic, but is a really good example, I think, is I'll walk in. Let's say I walk into your office, David, and I see a bunch of Post-it notes all over the place. And those Post-it notes have like usernames and passwords to different things like your Gmail and like maybe your Amex account, like your bank account, and like your energy company and your internet company. And you just got Post-its all everywhere. It looks like, you know, Bruce Almighty with the Post-its all over the place. And I'm just like, oh my Lord, this is annoying. And I will literally take all those Post-its and I'll put it in an Excel spreadsheet and I'll alphabetize it based on the account that it's for. So like, you know, Apple, Capital One, you know, what going alphabetically per application. I'll have a username and password in a spreadsheet. I'll save that somewhere on your desktop, but I'll also print it for you and I'll tape it to your desk so it's there. And I'll throw away all your Post-its.
You can start tomorrow, I'll tell you. Because the girl works Post-its. Oh my God, Post-its. We make a joke about it every day. But like you said, I can relate to what you're saying there, because I was just thinking in my head what you're saying. I'm thinking, oh wow, that would be kind of friggin' nice to be able to have done.
Yeah. Everybody kind of knows, you know, a need that especially like everybody knows that I need someone to book my travel. I need someone to pay my lawn guy. I need someone to schedule this doctor's appointment. I need someone to organize my calendar. Those are things that everybody knows that they need, right? And to me, that's fine and good. Yeah, sure, I can do all that. That's no problem. But what can I do for you that you don't even know that you need, but it's very clear that you need something in place to help you? That's where I come in, and that's where I really shine.
I'm going to listen to this over and over because I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm like, all right, I got to relate it to me. It's related to me. It's going like that. You got to love Lisa. Hire Kayla. There you go. I love it.
Thank you, Lisa.
But great organizational skills. Very impressive. So there you go. Lisa, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa. You're so great.
Like I told everybody, this is the best part of the show that I like doing, is bringing people on. And Lisa, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to have you on the show. It puts, when I ask Kayla, she always says yes. She says yes.
Absolutely.
LinkedIn, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Put a post about yourself looking for work. There's nothing wrong with the open to work. You hear different things. Oh, don't do it. Don't. You know what? I had it on there.
So much back and forth. I'm just like, it's there for a reason. Use it. It's
and
cool.
When recruiters type in looking for work, guess who comes up? You know, your name. That's right. Your name comes up, and you get that message. And some of them are spam. You know yourself. You're like, all right, wait a minute here. You know, but reach out to Kayla. And Kayla, at this time, I want you again, talk about yourself, what type of job you're looking for, career, and then we're going to end it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think just overall, I think I'm really fun to work with at the end of the day. I think I communicate exceptionally well, and I don't get my feelings hurt. And one thing that I actually said in my interview today, which I think more people need to, I think self-awareness isn't, what am I trying to say here? Sorry. I think self-awareness isn't given the credit that it needs sometimes. I'm extremely self-aware, and I always have been. So if I'm in a bad mood or I'm not at my best, I can communicate that without being emotional about it, right? I can say, hey, man, I'm just not having a good day. Like, maybe I have a headache. Maybe my back hurts, maybe whatever. I can communicate that. And I can communicate that to my higher ups and be like, so if my boss comes in and he sees that I'm just not with it today, I'd be like, man, I got a terrible migraine, trying to work through it. But if I seem off or if I miss something, that's why, just letting you know. And I think that isn't prioritized enough when people are hiring talent, right?
Right.
And something that I told my interviewer today, I was like, look, I can joke with the best of them. I don't get offended easily. I can take a good jab. I can take a good roast. I can give a good roast, but where I draw the line and where my boundary is, you can be mad. You can be angry. You can yell. You can be upset. You can be all of those things in my presence completely unfazed. What I told her was the second it becomes derogatory, like you're telling me I'm fucking stupid, pardon my French, or you're telling me that I'm something derogatory, that's when I'm going to have an issue. I'm not going to be belligerent back, but we're going to definitely, like, when you chill out, we're going to talk about this later type of a thing. Right. And that's where I draw the line. And I think people discussing their boundaries in interviews, I think is something everybody should do and not enough people do. Right. I think so many people, and I used to be like this too, and that's why I'm saying this. I think so many people are rooted in people pleasing, and I think that's a huge issue within administrative staff as well. We're kind of like told to be people pleasers, and in a way we are. But what you don't realize is a good executive, a good administrative assistant, a good PA, if you're good at your job, it's because you have good boundaries.
And that makes total sense. I mean, I'm listening. What you're saying is going through my head, like, all right, how can I relate it to myself over and over and over? But the way you put that, it is, and I agree. There's a couple things that you've said tonight that I like listening to, the way you talk. Like I said, I believe that your communication skills are probably above and beyond.
Thank you.
That's definitely, and everybody tonight has said the same thing. So I think you give off that of what you're saying and how you're so honest. Listen, I mean, you got to be yourself. I think you said things have changed. Interviews have changed over the years. Everybody, you work out, man. You're on the weights,
I think I've actually, hang on.
Here we go.
I've added more tattoos since last time we've talked as well.
She's got tattoos now, and she's all ready to go. See, weights. Look at that. So she's ready to go. But we see the pictures. Yeah, we see the pictures, and I love it. How honest and everything. And we got, please look at people's transferable skills. Very important.
Yes, that's right, transferable skills are huge. Like emotional intelligence. I feel like emotional intelligence isn't looked at as a big enough skill as it should be. Like, and that's another thing that makes me a really good EA and PA is my emotional intelligence. I can anticipate people's needs. I can anticipate people's moods, and I can also communicate with them even if they're upset, right? Like, I am all about giving people space to feel whatever they need to feel. So if my CEO or my C-suite comes in and maybe they had a shitty flight, maybe they fought with their spouse, I don't fucking know. Not my,
Right.
It's not my circus, not my monkeys, right? But now you're in my space and you're having a bad day. That's fine, man. That's
Right.
fine. Like, if you got a punching bag in your office, just let out whatever you need to do. I'll be over here. Let me know when you're done, and we can reconvene in a little bit. Okay,
a little bit. I love it. You know, Kayla, you're fun. You're fun to be on the show, and I enjoy it. I'm hoping to help you out here too. And I'm going to hashtag and I'm going to copy the companies. And please, everybody watching, you know, you want to share it and reach out. PM Kayla, yeah, I got your email on here too, going across the screen.
Send me an email, send me a connection request, send me a message. I'm down to chit chat.
That's it. And she's ready over in Houston, Texas. So thank you so much. And I'm going to talk to you right after this. I just got to find the right video. Be right back.
Always a pleasure, David. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kayla.